Hey, Ryan from Modula Racks here. We're going to be doing a trailer brake install on this 2004 Ford F150. These trucks come with a bit of a trailer wiring provision. This particular truck has the flat 4 connector on it. That is plugged in under here to the factory harness. Now, this has only got the flat 4 coming out, so we don't have the trailer brake control, the 12 volt charge control, or backup lights. But if I can show you in here, it's a bit hard to see. There is much more than 4 wires coming through along the frame rail, one of which is the blue trailer brake control. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a trailer brake controller into the cab. There is a plug under the dash that will feed power back to here. We're then going to have to, on this one, you can get from Drawtite, although they're hard to find here in Canada, a Pigtail plug and play connector that goes straight to 7-way. But on this one, there's no stock availability. So we're going to use this flat 4 for our turn, stop, and tail lights. And then we're going to tap into here for our brake control. And I can't remember which one's power, but we'll look that up. We'll get our power, 12 volt charge, and possibly backup lights, and get that down to our 7-blade connector. So in the dash here, we have installed the Curt Triflex brake controller. This is got the accelerometer in it so that it will proportionally apply the brakes on the trailer to your maximum set point, depending on the inertia created when you hit the brakes in the truck, as opposed to the other kind that it's a time delay and it just ramps them up to whatever your setting is. These ones are a much better drivability brake control, because if you're just lightly on the brakes, your trailer's not tugging hard behind you. We've got the Curt Pigtail here, Curt part number 51322. So this is going to plug into the factory harness, which is up under behind the OBD2 port right here. So we're going to plug into that, and then we'll tie all the excess wire up and behind, and that'll be all it is to actually get the brake control signal to the back of the truck. So now that we have the brake control in, and we still have to tie up those wires, but the next step is we need to provide power, 12 volt charging power, to that wiring harness in the back. So the fuse panel's on the passenger side of the truck, where your foot is, down at the bottom. And we've already checked in the owner's manual, although I got to double check because I've forgotten already. But relay number 5, it's 4 or 5, but I'm pretty sure it's 5. I'll double check that, is the relay for the 12 volt charge control. So essentially when you turn on the key, you're going to get 12 volt power to the back to charge any breakaway brake batteries on the trailer, or any whatever batteries you've got back there. So basically it's just going to be a standard, normally open 4-pin relay. It's going to plug in there, and then that will allow us to get power energized to the power wire in the back. So from here, we'll now go to the back, we'll unplug the pigtail, and we'll start doing some testing and figure out which wires we got to tap into. Okay, so here we are, we're under the truck. We've taken our standard 12 volt tester here. We've disconnected the factory wiring plug here from the pigtail here that goes to the tail lights on the bed of the truck, as well as down to our 4-pin harness here. Using our tester, we know the blue wire here is the 12 volt brake control. We know the black wire here is the ground. We now know the black wire with pink stripe is the backup lights. And we also know that this orange is our constant 12 volt power when the ignition is turned on. So we're going to need to tap into these, making sure they stay connected to the harness here, because obviously this is what gives us power to our taillights in the back of the truck. But we want to tap into a few of these functions, so we get them to our 7-way we'll be putting on the back here. And then this customer doesn't need the 4-way as well, so we'll likely just cut these here and put them directly into our four-way for our tail lights, stop, and turn signals. I hope that makes sense. You can always ask us about any questions if wasn't 100% clear on that. We'll show you quickly what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so we're all done. We've got our brake control mounted. No trailer hooked up to it right now, but basically you can slide this over and that's going to show what your set point is for your brakes. Little dial at the top here to dial that up or down. So if you want to head up to 9.9, which is your maximum output, or anywhere in between there, that's how you set that. This of course is how you test your trailer brakes, by pulling it to full max. And if you get a trailer lockup, then you got to dial it back a little bit, and then that'll be your max set point. Anyways, what we're going to do here now is we're going to test to make sure we've got everything wired correctly on the back of the truck. So first, going to make sure all of our tail lights are working correctly. We got it in reverse with the hazard lights on and the tail lights on, and we've got both of those working correctly on the truck. We want to check this, of course, because our wiring harness that we tapped into was from the factory wiring harness. We got our little tester here, 12 volt power with the ignition switched on and off. BK is our brakes. BU for backup, which turns on and off when we put it into park and reverse. Obviously the two flashing ones, and we've tested them on the right sides to make sure they're correct. Right turn and left turn. And then TM is just our tail lights. That just kind of shows you with them all running right now. We have tested them individually to make sure they work. And then underneath the truck here, we have basically tied up all of our wiring. Here's our new wiring. There's the old factory. Here is the connector that we used. And then you can see back in here where we actually just cut the orange 12 volt power and the brake line, and then we put some protector on there so those wires don't rot, because that power is not needed anywhere beyond here. And then we ran it direct to our 7-way. The backup light, which also runs in here, we just spliced into back up in the loom here, because obviously we want that to continue on through to the tail lights on the truck. And the 12 volt relay that we put in to the kick panel that gives us our 12 volt, that was relay 5. I wasn't sure when we were looking at that before, but that concludes the trailer brake install on this 2004 Ford F-150. Any questions? Let us know. Thanks for watching.